Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for April 22nd. Okay, let's get right into it. I have a few tickers in play here tomorrow. Um, Microsoft, MSFT, very interesting. I mean, if you're taking a look at this daily chart, since the opening of 2019 for the past 4 months, I mean, this thing's just shooting up like a rocket. Wedbush came out with analyst upgrade on Friday, and basically they are saying that they're expecting a very solid earnings beat. And their earnings report is coming up April 24th after the market close. So in just a few days, they're going to be having earnings. With that said, I mean, looking at this past few months, it definitely looks like people are already buying into the earnings. So I do expect when the earnings does come, the stock is going to sell off. However, that's 2 days from now, and we are still having higher than relative volume. The stocks overall still looks very strong. It literally just broke out of its $120 range, 121 range a couple days ago. Now, I do like this ticker for long for the next couple of days running into earnings, particularly April 24th when on the day of earnings. I definitely don't want to be trading that on the same day. However, before that day comes in, I do expect that people are trying to buy in before earnings, looking at this price action. So let's take a look at some support levels here I've marked off on the 5-minute chart, actually more on the 30-minute chart, right? The way this stock has shot up, I mean, it's a little bit overextended, but it closed very well above its highs. And during the late day, it it held above the highs range. Now, I am anticipating a little dip in the pre-market, so that probably around this 123 area is very key psychological whole numbers as well. A little dip into here and hold, and I will expect another rip from there. Gonna be watching the highs for sure at 123.50. If it opens flat and dip out the gates, right? This is going to be my first target area. We could come as low as 122.80s here. Now, on the 1-minute chart, 122.80s. Yeah, 123 is actually pretty safe. 122.80s would be a little too far. Right about here, right? Yeah, that would be too far of a dip in my opinion. 123 would be a nice spot. I like MSFT because the float is nice and big, so it's a slower mover, right? The spread, I should expect the spread to be nice and tight as well. Watching the 123 to hold. And on the flip side, I mean, if it gaps up tomorrow pre-market above this 123.5 and then starts holding pre-market, then I might just play it off the 123.5 and let it ride. Now, Microsoft average true range is $1.50. Let's check here, $1.53. So with that said, looking for $125 as a target is very suitable in my opinion, because the stock has shot up so much already. It does look like it needs a day to pull back, but I don't think it's tomorrow because we still have higher relative volume. So this is strictly more of like a momentum play of continuation day from the Friday's momentum. So looking for a dip and rip or a gap up and rip, and from there we'll see. Okay, so that's MSFT. That's going to be one of my main watches. Next up, we have Zoom. Zoom just IPO'd, and I did a very in-depth recap on Zoom on how I longed it on its IPO day. Now, looking here, we have definitely some key support and resistance area. You'll probably see it a little better here. Actually, let's change this into the 30-minute and change this into the 5-minute chart. Okay, so the 5-minute chart, you can see 62 at the open of the IPO after the stock settled a little bit. It definitely held the 62 and made a key support. Now, however, this 62 after hours, it breached a little bit and got right back up. So overall, the the IPO price was at $36, so they really overshot this IPO price. Hence the major sell-off at the open. Now, from the looks of things, I mean, it's still tough to determine whether they want to continue to buy this up high at this price range at around 62. Okay. The fundamental side of Zoom is actually very solid in my opinion, but it's actually a little bit overpriced, to be quite honest. All we got to do, or all we can do tomorrow, is see what it does around the 62 area as it closed right at after hour 62.50, right? If it holds above 62 and continue its support, then you can definitely long it against it, right? With the IPO being so volatile, definitely use a little bit more wiggle room, probably about 50 cents would be nice, especially for a $60 stock. 50 cents is really nothing. So I'll probably play it against 62, 61 and a half. Okay, the low of the high IPO day on the initial sell-off was at around $60.50. So definitely going to mark that off. It might just sell off at the open and then make a double bottom, run back up, right? From there, 63 was a pretty key level, as well as it actually took a lot of effort at the opening of the IPO to break out the 63 and then came back down and held again. As you see here, right around the 63, it broke out and then held, dipped a little bit, broke out, held, broke out, held, and then finally, at the end of the day, I guess whoever bought it or traded it that same day finally took some profits here. Now, the $63, it's pretty key. I actually want to see it get above 63 and hold again to get long. That would be a more of a safer play. If it gaps up tomorrow, we have some major resistance. I mean, 64 is a nice level that it was dipping here at the open, and then you can tell it wasn't able to hold above 64, right, for the time duration that it was there. So I don't think the investors have much faith in the 64 area as well. Overall, it's a little bit overpriced. So if it pops up tomorrow, I'm going to be watching these resistance level to get short as well. 65, definitely a key price. It's basically the opening price here at 65, right? So if Zoom can trade above 65 and hold above there, then it's definitely 100% along, and we know that the investors wants more of it. However, it's highly unlikely. We tapped into it and pull right back down, tap into it and pull right back down. So this triple top, this tells me like there's a big seller up here looking to get rid of their shares and profit from the IPO, right? So gonna watch out at the open and let the dust settle a little bit, probably around half an hour, and see what it does. Unless it gives me a very nice conviction of a double bottom at the open or high low of confirmation, or the other way around, a double top and then lower high, then I'll take it. But I would expect Zoom to be a very nice watch because of the technical analysis. The stock IPOs follow technicals very, very well, especially on the 30-minute, 5-minute chart here. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. I mean, 63 and a half. Look at this. We have like a sell-off and then open, dump. Okay, so sell-off, major reversal, sell-off. So it looks like it's actually bear flagging, to be quite honest, right? People who are like me, who is able to short we might be short here, and then the 63 might be our line in the sand squeeze spot. Gotta be careful at the open, but can definitely playing it long against the 62 is definitely a good thesis in my opinion. So I'm gonna keep that on watch. Next up, we have Pinterest, right? Pinterest also IPO'd as well, and there's also a nice triple top here at the 25. Let's load up some levels here on Pinterest. The IPO opened at 23.75. Okay. And looking at Pinterest, the average true range is it's not bad for the day, right? So for the day, it went from basically from the open to the highs about $1.25 in range here. Uh, the spread was very tight, so I do like that part about Pinterest. Okay, um, overall, it's closing above its highs around the 24 area, so I do think there might be a little gap up at the open, and we do have a pretty nice line in the sand around the 24.50 as well. Okay, so depending on where it closes, if it pre-markets opens up and it starts holding above this 24.50 area, I do like to play it for the long, um, and run it back up to the 25. It tried to get back up to 25 and over, but nobody really wanted to buy up here, especially perhaps probably during late day. That's probably why we didn't get enough volume and momentum to come in to hold this 25 breakout. Now 25 is a key resistance area. I am expecting it to test for sure tomorrow. So looking for that test and see if it stuffs or if it breaks out and hold. If it breaks out and holds, then definitely a nice long. Fundamental side of things, Pinterest, it's they're not really that profitable, but they did undersell themselves on the IPO pricing. So they're looking at Lyft, right, who basically practically oversold themselves, and they don't want that same thing to happen to them. So they undersold themselves at the opening valuation, and the thing got bought up. Some key levels here, 24, very, very key as it held all day here, made nice support, kind of like the $62 mark on Zoom, right? Now it's trading above that 24 area. So this is the main support I'll be looking at. This first print, the opening price of the IPO is very, very important. This 23.75. I don't think it can get as low as 23.75. And if it does, I'm expecting people to defend it, the buyers to come in to defend it, and definitely you can play along against this area right here, anywhere from 23.75 to 23.60s. Okay, so that's PINS levels 24.75, 24.20, 24.40. All right, nice and tight range, $1.25. So yeah, we'll have to see tomorrow. We have Skechers is next. They announced earnings on Friday, and basically they had a bad guidance on their earnings, right? However, the stock is on SSR. It sold off about 14%, and then since it made a nice reversal and started coming back up and start basing. Now, this is exactly the same pattern as we see on BBBY, right? So right now it's holding a little bit above 31. 31 made a nice support area, and I'll tell you this much: I don't see it get above 32.50. Okay, let's see. I think I put on the drawings here on SKX already. Let's see if I have them. Yeah. Okay, so 32.50 is where it double tops. Okay, it's very apparent double top. Actually, this would have been the money spot right here, or yeah, getting this short on double top. So I am expecting if it does get back up there, I am expecting it to sell off at the double top again. Now, coming into the daily chart, we do have major resistance at 32.50, right? As you can see here. So I don't think the stock can get above it, but if it does, then it could have a small squeeze up to around the 33 area. As you can see here on this candle, February 8th, this was its last earnings, right? So currently comparing to its last earnings, the low of that candle is at 31.35, and we're holding a little bit above it. So depending on how it plays pre-market tomorrow, I think the stock will kind of come back up a little bit because it's on SSR, and then sell off and then try to hold this area. But eventually, because the guidance was so weak, eventually I do think it snaps and come back down to test the lows, probably around the 30 area, and from there we make a double bottom and start grinding up for the next quarter. So expecting this range here anywhere from the 31 to 32.50s. The average true range is only $1, and the spread is nice and tight. So we did get a couple of prints after hours on a gap up. So looking for a gap up and sell from 32.50s, and then bring it back down to 31, and then start grinding back up. Yeah, until SSR comes off on Tuesday, but by then I'll probably forget about this stock because we got major earnings coming up. Finally, IQ. IQ is interesting to me. I mean, looking at this chart, it's pretty choppy, right? However, and we do see like a 3-day grind up, okay? But what this looks like to me, it's basically a bear flag, in my opinion, okay? From here, the death cross happened. The 90 MA crossed the 200, and then 90 MA crosses the 50 again, right? We had this massive day on April 15th where it basically snapped a key support of 2350. So right here, looking at the daily chart, 2350, this was its last earnings call, okay? So we had a positive earnings reaction, and then finally on this day, April 15th, we snapped under it. So we did have some nice volume coming under it as well. So this is kind of like the kill candle. To me, it looks like this is a bear flag. So we have a flagpole, and then a few days grind up. I am looking for this uptrend to snap, and then looking for the next few legs down to 20, probably the 22 area. So just gonna watch for that trend line. How would I draw this here? Somewhere like this. It meets up on 23 for sure. So 23 is a key support. 2350 though, very key resistance. So we'll definitely have to watch what it does at around 2350. Okay, and then we have the 200 SMA of the 30-minute chart coming in here, and it respected it. See how it respected it here, and it respected it here as well. So looking for a pop and drop. The stock did close. Actually, did it close strong? It closed all right. Right, it's just a little bit above the 23 area. It does look like buyers are coming in to defend 23. Right. Still, I think there's like a 50-60 cents to be had here, maybe even 75 cents. Looking for a pop and drop and continuation leg down. If 23 snaps though, this thing is going down. This thing is going down pretty far. Gonna at least test these lows here on this red bar, April 15th. So $22.30. So it definitely have a lot of potential, in my opinion. Looking at this bear flag, I am expecting a push out the gates first into this 2350 though. So let's take a look at that very significant level, right here as well. Okay, so closing price, kill candle, bear flag, down. Okay, so that's basically it for my watch list. 5 tickers on there. I hope you guys enjoyed what you've been watching and pick up a few pointers here and there, some nuggets. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Check out my video link description below for discount to the chat room that I'm located in. It's Trick Tray's chat room. Trick is my mentor, and he has turned my training around, and he has done so for a lot of our members as well. Every day, all we see is testimonials and people saying coming to Trick Trades is one of the best thing that has ever happened to them in their trading. Also, we do have a discount on the Boss Assassin DVD. So Boss stands for Basic Options Simple Strategy. And it's basically an option strategy DVD that it's back tested and proven, and it's a killer DVD. Basically, I have it as well. The DVD makes itself back. It makes the money back on its own, right? I also know that a few other gurus out there have bought the DVD themselves and has watched it and kind of rebranded the teachings inside the DVD and try to make it their own, basically copying what Trick is doing and then teaching it to their members. So that's how good the DVD is. So look out for that in the link description below. It's $100 off right now if you use the coupon code BOSS100. So I'm going to type that out here right now. Coupon code BOSS100 for $100 off. Caps, all caps, and put that in. Hit the description link. Put that coupon code in. Get $100 off. You definitely will not regret it. It's one of the best DVDs out there on option strategy, and it's simple. That's the key thing. It's very, very easy to understand it. Don't let other people out there fool you and complicate shit, giving you all these big terms and complicated terms and vocabulary. It's actually not that hard at all. Trick has really dumbed it down, for the lack of a better definition, or lack of a better term, dumbed it down so that it's very simple to understand. And basically, after watching the DVD, it's pretty guaranteed you'll start making money, to be quite honest. My girlfriend's using it and she's killing it. A lot of our members is using it and they're killing it. Trick, I haven't seen a red friggin' day from this guy, and I see his P&L every day in the chat room. So take a look at that, and I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Ciao.